right, on Cavuto Coast to Coast, it's business alert time to talk about Donald Trump. We've made it 17 minutes without doing it on the show, but last night, of course, he's going back and forth with this television anchor from Univision, Jorge Ramos, and everybody seems to be talking about it today. There's at a news conference. This guy wants to ask a question. Trump doesn't. Anyway, watch this, then we'll talk to Gasparino.
Excuse me, sit down. You weren't called. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Go ahead. No, you don't. You haven't been called. Go back to Univision.
Oh, okay. Go back to Univision. Gasparino is here. Charlie Gasparino, that would be.
Go back to Univision. You're fired.
I have a right to ask a question.
You're fired.
You don't.
You don't have any rights. Only I have rights.
This guy wants to interview him,
Go back to Mexico.
He wants, well, come on.
Did he say that?
No, he said go back to Univision.
I'm building a wall to keep guys like you out, reporters.
That would be the tone of it, right? If he didn't allow him back in. Then he did, and then they had it's almost like Trump caught himself and said, you know what?
In Donald's defense, I think that guy, we should separate him out. That guy's, is a very sort of antagonistic questioner. He's looking to create a scene on himself.
He wants to have the attention that he's getting today, and he wants to interview Trump. He wants to create this.
I mean, what question did he really want to ask? He really wanted this.
Yes.
So I don't, and Donald, to his credit, said, I'm not going to give you anything more than the minimum.
It never seems to hurt him, The polls come out, and not yet anyway. I mean, this kind of stuff. He's always, every day he's attacking somebody.
He's going after now, like I said, I like Donald a lot, but he's going after my friend Anthony Scaramucci.
I saw
trying to say that Anthony was asked him for a meeting so he could jump ship and join the Trump campaign, jump ship from Walker.
So he's a big supporter. I know he works here, but he's a big supporter of Walker, right? In case anybody doesn't know the story, just tell it real quick about what happened with Scaramucci.
Well, here's what happened, and I'll give you the blow-by-blow from last week. Anthony told me last week that Donald called him, and he told me, just don't say anything about it because I want to have a nice private meeting with him. And Donald called him to meet.
Right.
And because Donald says, how come you're always supporting Walker? We know each other. And they decided to meet. And Anthony did not go public with it. Could have came on Fox Business and gone public with it. He did so after they met and after they shook hands on a number of issues, including the fact that Donald attacked hedge fund managers, paper pushers, whatever he called them. Anthony's obviously a hedge fund manager. Anthony attacked Donald. They still met right after that attack. They shook hands. But then somehow Donald thought it was wise to say that Anthony called him to jump ship to Walker. Now, I wasn't there. I don't know. But I can just tell you, why would Anthony lie about that, create this elaborate scheme? I mean, he's telling me.
And he says that never happened.
He said that Donald called him, which sounds legitimate. Why would he call? It just doesn't make any sense for Anthony to lie about that.
My question is, why does, and whether it's that issue, all these, every day it's something, nothing seems to stick. In the polls, he keeps going up. And
I think there is, he's an amazing guy, to be honest with you, in terms of a candidate. He's been practicing for this for years. He's got a couple really hardcore issues he hits home with, issues that Republican establishment has been incredibly mealy-mouthed about, and I would put Scott Walker in that camp. This whole notion of that, of immigration, where you can just come to this country illegally and feast on our welfare state. As someone who comes from immigrants, I didn't come over to Mayflower. I guess they were immigrants too, but much earlier. Yeah. I just find it outrageous that you can have a welfare state and open borders. And, and I think Donald is hitting that notion home. The other thing that I think people like about him is that he's not politically correct, that we are so politically correct in this country. You can't say anything, can't do anything. If you're a women's frat in Alabama and everybody's blonde, somehow that equates to racism. And you got to take down your frat video. That's what happened in the University of Alabama with this. Excuse me, it was a sorority. Shows you my deep knowledge of the Greek system. But but I'm just saying that Donald speaks that sort of truth. That said, he has incredible rhetorical excesses. A lot of his economic theories are just don't make sense to me. At some point, you can't be fighting the world. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I guess. But
you can fight Hillary. It's one thing to fight Hillary Clinton. It's another thing to pick a fight with Anthony. Hey, he's a hedge fund manager.
Yeah, it's everybody.
I know. He came to me. He wanted to jump ship.
They keep saying he's got a ceiling that he can't go higher.
And I know how he. By the way,
I got to run anyway.
I know how the hedge funds are taxed.
I know.
I know how they're taxed.
Your impression's getting better, at least.